We are live, and look at that. Look how much tablecloth we got there.
Nice.
Is that good? Are we good?
I don't know. You're the frame master.
Oh my god, this is a good frame. Let's move the table this way. Yeah, look at that.
There we go. Actually, that looks pretty good.
That was like the best frame we ever had. Look how colorful it is.
It's not bad, eh?
So we never used this tablecloth before?
No, I don't think we did because we have the original painting right there.
The colors are a bit off, eh?
Yeah, but whatever. That's what you get when you
These ones are more.
You take a picture, you send.
Look how even the people who are watching can see how crazy the color difference is.
Yeah,
it's so much more
pretty big difference.
Earthy.
Yeah, definitely.
This one's dulled out.
Yeah, a little dulled out because
Peachy.
it's whatever. Because it wasn't the highest res picture that. I mean, I had these made in 2014 or something. So.
Oh, those were the golden years, my friend.
The pixels on my camera back then weren't as.
You remember we used to talk about the golden age all the time, man. 2014, what a time to be alive and be an artist.
It was a pretty good time to be alive and be an artist, yeah.
Yes.
2013, 14, those were the years, man.
Now I haven't seen you in a couple weeks in 2020.
Yeah, we've. You should actually move over a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Keep your fucking social distance, dude.
Of course. We're supposed to be. That's 1 meter, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have enough room to be 6 feet apart in this room and actually still be in the frame.
But we completely lysoled our entire body and clothes before coming in off screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta be safe.
I smell minty fresh, if you're wondering.
I don't know about minty fresh, but yeah. Lavender.
Oh, okay.
Lavender.
Well, tell me what's going on.
Well, personally, like for me, I mean, I'm sure anybody watching is probably aware of what's going on in the world right now. First couple of weeks of it going on, like I got laid off from my job. I was pretty paralyzed with uncertainty, is what I'll call it. Like I couldn't get creative. I couldn't access positive emotions. I was worried. I was nervous. I was like going down all these conspiracy theory rabbit holes on the internet and having a hard time accessing positive thoughts and emotions. And then I kind of like remembered that I'm an artist and art heals. For me, and my
you and others, yeah.
Yeah, it heals myself and other people hopefully by getting that vibration. And then I stopped watching the news. I stopped clicking on links on Facebook, and I take a quick look at what's going on in the day in my area. I don't get sucked into what's going on all over the world as little as I can. And, I tried to build a routine for myself that's focusing on being creative, because I notice when I am in that mode, there's no room for fear or negativity or worry or uncertainty because I'm in the moment. And, that's the only thing it's the only time we can ever actually be is right now. So like if you're worrying about what's going to happen in the future or what you could have done differently 2 weeks ago to make things different today, I mean, it's not really going to end up anywhere productive. So for me personally, what worked was getting into a nice routine, revolved around my creativity, getting out of the news cycle. And, I'm painting a lot more, I don't have work, so I can put, 4, 5, 6 hours a day into painting. And because I'm trying to stay away from social media, I'm not getting sucked into the scrolling and all that stuff and wasting my day that way. I'm putting on some good music and spinning some tunes and painting, and it's working. It's for me anyway. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I should be out there stockpiling food and cutting firewood and trying to get myself a fireplace put in my apartment or some shit. I don't know, man. Maybe the world's gonna go fucking sideways and sitting here painting is the last thing you should be doing, you moron. I'm sure there's people that'll think that way. But for me, life only happens once, and when I'm sitting there painting, I'm happy. And I don't know. That's
I mean, I got a whole bunch of canvases, even though I found out that you ordered them, right? You had them delivered, some canvases?
Yeah, I ordered some canvases, but
I didn't know. I bought them out. I went to Michael's on the last day of them all.
Well, you're probably one of the assholes that the sizes I want aren't available online because they're sold out.
Oh, they're selling you from that shop?
I don't know if it's from that shop. I ordered from Omer Dessert, but
oh no, I didn't go to Omer.
I went to Omer, and even on Michael's website right now, and on the other bigger-ish art shop close to us, they're sold out of a lot of their sizes.
I got 3 4-footers at home. I got some.
I mean, I'm stocked up on
3-footers.
canvas. I got.
Oh, that's what I went after. I have enough paint. I have enough paint to last a real Armageddon.
Yeah, I kind of like. I was hoping. I actually do need to stock up on some paint because I have a lot of little bottles of paint. I'm gonna grab one of those there just to like show what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I have a whole bunch of those. But,
Cashmere beige.
Yeah.
And bright salmon. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have made you guess. Okay, this one you're guessing. What do you think it is?
Fawn.
Oh, fail! It's obviously cashmere beige.
Oh, is it?
I was all like, he's gonna know because there's 2 of them here.
No, I didn't think I'd have 2 of the same right next to each other, but hey, I did.
I got him.
You got me.
Okay, you're saying you needed to get more. These are full, bro.
Well, I know, but they make big bottles of the same brand of paint, and when I'm working on a canvas 4x4 feet, or even behind this, I have a 4x6 footers and 4x8 footers. Like, you know, I need more paint. Because I don't always have enough paint of like one of these little bottles to cover a large section with 2 coats if it needs it.
And you do it very opaque. You do not do it where you can stretch it.
Yeah, no. I like my paint opaque when I lay it on the canvas. I don't like any kind of see-through-ish effect.
So, you know, this is a good time to ask people in the comments, are you stocking up on materials? Do you care at all about painting? I know that in the coming economy, ain't gonna be much art going on.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think that for a little while anyway, the economy is going to be shrunk down to local a lot.
Yeah.
And especially if it gets to the point where deliveries of things are halted, like people that experience joy through shopping are not going to be able to get their fix anywhere except locally.
Okay, so
I've got this little showroom. I've got all kinds of t-shirts and all kinds of clothing available.
Yeah. T-shirts and clothing always sell this, and it's a small topic.
I feel like I have to crouch here because of the like now it's.
I'm kind of like leaning forward like this.
Well, like this is how I would normally sit.
Okay, so I'll fix this. I'll fix the frame of it.
Yeah, a little bit. I guess I'll do it. Now that we move the table.
Why don't you just sit back? Why don't you just go backwards?
Because I don't want to hit my painting with my chair.
Oh my God, you're gonna play with the frame now?
I'm gonna play with the frame a little tiny bit.
God, man.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
You're trying to change the effects. Just tilt it.
That's what I did, but I touched it and then it brought that.
No, you didn't really tilt it. I don't think you did anything.
Oh, okay. I tilted it the wrong way. There we go.
Okay, well, when the economy is in a lull.
Now the frame's much better. You're not in it.
When the economy's in a lull, there is less painting on canvases that are sold. I mean, maybe if you're selling something to the board of directors of the Federal Reserve, great.
Is it the perfect time because we're all trying to make a buck and survive? Is it the perfect time to build a reputation with local people who maybe couldn't afford your art before, and now you're able to lower your prices because you're literally not allowed to ship art to your big market in the States?
Well, look, let me tell you. It's a great time to invest in art because an artist will sell you art for next to nothing. And once it comes out of this 2020 crisis, any art that's actually based on this event, this is a worldwide event that affects every single person. You walk down the street and you know that motherfucker thinking about the exact same thing as you. And it ain't like last month where he was maybe thinking about Kobe Bryant and you don't even know who Kobe Bryant is. Okay, now we're all thinking the same thing. If you buy a piece now and you get it cheap and it's like a banger 2020, art is a conversational piece. If people come to your house and they see a 2020 on the wall and they go, is that about the 2020 thing that we all went through? It's an amazing art piece.
It could be.
It could be. And there's potential for greatness in the art world at this time.
Personally, I have a different opinion about art that's about current events and or current like fan art.
Okay, well let me put it a different way. The artist that stayed true and painted during the crisis is still something to be said.
Oh yeah, they'll always have an advantage. Anyone who didn't give up and didn't whatever style you're painting. I'm just thinking long term.
That's what I'm touching on.
Long term as an investment piece for art, like with very rare exceptions, like okay, Andy Warhol did some pop art and his stuff is worth a lot of money. There's a few pop artists that used other characters and whatever whose art is very collectible and worth a lot of money. As an investment piece, and here we're talking strictly as an investment. I think that like In 200 years, are people gonna know or care who Batman was or who Wile E. Coyote was?
I mean, Jesus.
I don't know. At the rate things
are going,
maybe. But at the same time, I don't know any characters that were or any comedians from 1810.
What are you talking about? Charlie Chaplin.
Oh yeah, the guy with the boxing gloves and the meme. That guy,
Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin was from like 1920.
Don't ruin
that's only 100 years ago.
Fucking...
That's 100 years ago. I don't know anyone, any comedians. I don't know like what 4 musicians from like the 1800s that like or prior, like classical musicians whose music is still known. You can't tell me there weren't like massively famous musicians in Greece and Rome and everywhere.
I actually
that
believe
people
that you do know them, but we're just totally not. We don't know that they were.
We don't care about them because they're not relevant to us, and that's what all these characters that people are putting in pop art are going to be to people 200 years from now.
I'll tell you.
That's what I think.
I'll tell you why I don't believe that, because cartoons have to do with the subconscious and iconography of specific stereotypes and archetypes. So a Mickey Mouse, even though he's changed his archetype several times, even Bart Simpson has, where he's not as devilish as he used to be, he still holds a place in people's minds. And
he does, but
the
Mickey Mouse is one cartoon character out of how many from when Mickey Mouse was invented that we all still know and care about?
True, no one knows about Oswald, no one knows about the other ones. But it doesn't matter. Mickey Mouse is from 1920. He has survived to this day, and he still has a cultural effect on the mind, although it has changed, and now it's a corporate archetype, especially depending on how you draw him. But it has an effect on the mind, and a human doesn't have the same effect because a human ages and changes. A cartoon never does.
The effect that's on our mind is because of the cultural context of Disney, and because of the way we were exposed to those characters, and the fact that there's Disney World that we can go to. In 200 years, if Disney World is fucking
there's also bootlegging,
and there's no Tinkerbell coming across our screen every Sunday night with our parents sitting on the couch having family time watching Disney.
You tell me
without that.
But you tell
Mickey,
me the last time.
Man, what's Mickey?
But what is Mickey? When was the last time you saw something with Mickey in it that actually?
To me, though, Mickey has all those cultural connotations.
He's nothing, bro. He's never been in anything. He's never been in one cartoon that you've watched.
Steamboat. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
1920 Steamboats?
No, but there was a whole bunch of them from the 70s, probably.
He's a loser. He's nothing, okay? But he's in our minds.
My grandfather had a whole collection of Mickey cartoons, and he put them on all the time when I was
Sure, when you were a small child. I'm saying recently, Mickey is
But that's what Mickey is to me. The memories of when I was a small child.
Okay,
to somebody that doesn't grow up with those memories, is Mickey going to mean shit in 200 years?
I never watched Mickey.
Who knows?
I never watched Mickey. I thought he was a loser my whole life. Okay? And he's still part of the culture because of that.
For me, it's grandparents' memories of being at my grandparents and being at the cottage.
I think bootlegging...
Being at the cottage, if it was thunderstorm out, was the only time I got to watch those tapes in the summer.
But now because of bootlegging...
it's that good memories for me.
People have been bootlegging since that time, okay? And because of that, bro, he has a very strong cultural stance. Even universally. He's all over the world.
For now.
All over the world.
He is now.
Like Popeye. Popeye is so useless. He doesn't have anything going for him except for the fact that he is a cultural icon.
Charles Lindbergh.
Yeah?
What about him?
I don't know, he flew? There's a guy that flew some shit? Is that him?
He was world famous. He was the most famous person in the world.
He crossed the Atlantic for the first time?
But from like the time he did that until World War II, I mean, he was the most famous person in the world.
Everyone in the world. You thought I wouldn't know, and you caught me.
Well, no, I didn't think I caught you.
They even had dollars.
But you're like, a guy who flew? That's how people are going to be about Mickey. Oh, that stupid rat from that thing years ago that nobody cares about anymore? That's what it could be. I think
where are you going with this?
Where I'm going with this is that as an artist, if you're trying to base your art around current events and or pop art, it's not something that is like necessarily going to stand the test of time. That's my point. If you develop a very unique style that's outside of pop art and that doesn't necessarily rely on people's emotional attachments to characters that we all know and love, your long-term chances of developing relationships with the type of art collectors that want to spend $10,000 on a painting might be higher. And that's what I'm getting at.
And you can become culturally relevant by your style.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
That's kind of where I'm coming at, yes. Because there's a lot of artists doing pop art, a lot of artists, and they sell a lot of art like as a group, because a lot of people have that attachment to them, and a lot of them don't sell their art for that much money because they're not getting that type of buyer. They're getting a buyer who's an 18-year-old and wants to have Rick and Morty on their wall. But is that person going to keep that painting through their life? Probably not. By the time they have a family and they move into their own place, it's going to be in the garbage.
There's a difference between pop art and fan art. Okay?
There you go. Fan
art is where you're mimicking the art style of the whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Pop art is where you actually have your own style to it, and it's just the context that you use involves popular characters, but you still have a distinctive style.
Mm-hmm.
If someone sees a Rat Boy and they know about my art, then they could distinguish that it's me who did it. And for some reason, nobody's drawn Rat Boys,
mm-hmm.
which is the strangest thing. If that's someone out there in the world who would be drawing something similar, but it's weird. So I could say that style of smashing characters in that way, there's people who smash characters, but they're very distinctive in the way that they do it, and that's a phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's style.
It is. It's just also I guess part of where I'm going with this a little bit too is it's like when I was doing mandalas. There's a lot of artists doing mandalas. It's a pretty crowded market. There's no artist doing that style. None.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one and only. So for me, sort of, that's one of the reasons I'm kind of sticking more to this style lately. You know, it's quicker. So when I am employed, I can bang out paintings quicker and still keep producing art. I think I mentioned that in the last one. B, now that I'm not employed, I can make more paintings faster. And C, for me personally, it doesn't end up coming along with the spiritual connotations that a lot of mandalas, people that are into mandalas have. And I'll be honest too, I was targeting my market towards those kind of Facebook groups that are involved with spirituality and things, knowing that my art would probably resonate with some people in there. The art does, but the charging for the art doesn't in the spiritual community resonate with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I ended up dealing with all this shit that had nothing to do with my art or anything. And people writing to me because they want to know if I'm vegan, and if I'm not, I shouldn't be painting mandalas because I'm not really spiritual if I eat animals and things like this, and it's go fuck yourself. This kind of style is inspired by Nintendo games in my childhood in the 80s. I hope it brings you some nostalgia if you were around in the 80s. And if not, I hope it makes you I hope it makes your mind want to play that level and have fun looking at it. And the bright colors, I hope they make you smile. It's a lot simpler. There's a lot less spirituality attached to it for other people. And for me, that makes it more fun to market it. Because I don't have to be thinking in the back of my head of these, people who are going to come at me with all this bullshit that I don't really...
It's part of the game.
I suppose it is, but
it's part of the game. My actual art style that I would like to do in the future, because I know I can't do it now just because of the game, is Rothko.
The name rings a bell.
It's an artist who just did their color tones.
Okay, yeah,
They're pretty much just color tones, and to me, that's a beautiful art piece because art in itself, as a canvas, it's a great piece, right? But it has to exist in a space. Also, that's part of what art is. It exists in a house or something like that. Mm-hmm. So if a person doesn't have a funky ass house, or if a person just has a regular house, they need an art piece that goes with that too. And that's why I really like just that people's houses that I've experienced, bland, a lot of not a lot of color. Mm-hmm. So the canvas just needs to have color. And specific, maybe 3 colors to inject an emotion into that room. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily need to have shape, forms, and context. It just needs to have color. And that's what I'd like to go into in the future. But if I just did that now, I think it's too philosophical. And
I don't think it's philosophical at all. It's all about, here's some color, put it in your room.
True. But then again, at the rate that you would make these canvases, you can make a lot.
Yes.
You can make a lot of them, and you think you'd be making more than you can sell.
Most artists make more than they can sell. If you're not making more than you can sell, you're probably not making enough art.
Mm-hmm. But also, my main point is that this is more institutionalized art. It's big art.
Mhm.
You're not making a 16 by 20 colored canvas.
No.
You're making them 4 feet is the minimum. Is the smallest one. Okay, maybe a 3 by 3, but realistically, that it's a very big art style, so it needs a studio. So my goal is to make a revenue stream based on all kinds of things, shirts and clothing and other canvases, and then from that point, use that as a springboard to make institutionalized art that is for, let's say, the metro system in Montreal, and it doesn't involve Mickey. Because now this is Montreal that we need to service, and I don't want it to be like some of the art that I see in Montreal. That's I saw one at Parc La Fontaine the other day. I don't know if you're listening, guy who did it, but it looks like a French comic book style, like almost Asterix and Obelix, but really like Kitten. No, not as good as fucking Tintin. You know, really like this. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it with that style. And they put his art in the park with the Montreal logo and everything, and it's an illustrative comic book style. It has no rhyme or reason to be there, and he's not famous.
Probably goes back to who you know.
100%.
We've talked about this a bunch of times in art. Is who you know is sometimes as important as what you know,
and that's
how
people will say that when they see my art, when they see just a color blotch, they'll be like, "How the fuck you just put a color blotch?" But it'll be more obvious that it's who you know and what you did in life.
Yeah.
Be a social. These places need color, and they need things that aren't dark. And some places have a darker style of art, where it's just like, nah, dude. The kids need something, the adults need something, and even if they don't stare and gawk at it, it's the effect that color has on people.
No, bright colors straight up make people happy.
Yeah,
it's the way
they don't need to be aware because it's gonna affect them anyways. We just have to do what's effective, and we know is effective, and have art be.
I forget where I read it, but I read something about an article where like people that have fresh flowers in their house, like, you know, and have them replaced every week or two. A lot of people do that. I did that when I lived in Costa Rica. There was a flower shop downstairs from me, and it was like $6 to buy a nice bouquet of flowers, and it looked nice on my centerpiece. So yeah, I spent $6 a week to have beautiful flowers, and it made me happier. And I'm not sure if it was the life or if it was some of them smelled nice, most of them didn't.
The geometry's
I
there
think
too,
the geometry, but I think the main thing was the colors, the splash of bright color, different bright colors to look at, like to just.
A little technical difficulty there. Adam had to go to the bathroom. Oh, you're back?
I'm back.
Did you wash your hands with Lysol?
I washed my hands with Lysol and scrubbed with soap for 20 seconds in hot water.
Okay.
And
a little quick dip in bleach.
Yeah, bleach. There you go.
I think, now that we mention it, I think I'm going to try and birth that new style now.
Do it.
I have multiple 4-footers. I'll just keep painting one, because what he did, Rothko, is he kept painting one, and there's multiple layers on one canvas until he got it to where he wanted it. So like sometimes it's like the guy really went like, oh, that's not green enough, and he would add another green until it looked
the way
perfect,
he wanted it.
how he wanted it. Yeah, and there's something about that where I don't have to, because it's stressful painting and like, okay, you're on the black line phase when you're doing your lines. There's a bit of stress that comes about.
Not at all. The line work for me is the most fun part. It's like such a meditation.
So what's what's the stressful part?
Coloring it in. Okay. And it's not even stressful. It depends on my mood.
That's funny. I'm the opposite.
Once I start coloring it in, then I'm in the flow of doing it. It's awesome. I'm happy. I'm in the flow. But thinking about it, it's like because it's the longer part, and it's not as close to the end. Like when I'm doing the line work, I'm seeing everything tighten up, and I know I'm getting close.
No, for me, the fun part is the coloring. And the last
We're
part,
both looking at the same painting over here.
Yeah, bring it in. And as you get closer to the end, it gets more stressful because for some reason the brain puts more.
Here we go.
The brain puts more hurdles.
I created. Whoops! You can't even really see the whole thing in the frame at once.
The brain puts more hurdles in your way right before the end because it's gonna get a whole bunch of synapse.
There you go.
And dopamines. I don't know. Yeah, but I'll try.
Washed out with the light, but whatever.
At least you have context of what we were looking at.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and birth that style. I've been doing a lot of comics. I don't know if you've seen them.
I have, yes. I've been looking at your comics pretty often. They're current, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they're super current for right now. It's amazing. The content is super relevant. But
I don't have any. There's nothing else that comes to mind.
In 20 years,
If I have a book that's about the 2020 crisis, you might want to read that comic.
Maybe not. Maybe my grandma's gonna die, and I won't remember these times at all.
No, you'd still read the comic.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
So, anyways, that's one of the things that I'm doing differently during this. Is doing that. I wanted to do the comic anyways, and it's just when I sit down and I come up with a joke, they just have to do with this. I don't know why, but that's what we're all facing. It just makes sense. It just makes sense for me. And it's a good virality. People are sharing. People are seeing themselves as the bunny.
Good what?
Virality.
Oh, yeah. Good word to choose right now, eh?
Is it
a sick fucking word.
Yeah, thanks. It's very contagious. But it's important for people to see themselves as the comic book characters. So it's important to use things that they deal with.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. They're super poignant, on point, and 100%. And I get, you know what? I guess there are people that collect stuff about current events. There's not as many. Maybe,
it's really because It's really because I look up to Calvin Hobbes people that collect and Garfield and those kind of artists. You know, Jim Davis was an inspiration since I was 5 years old. He's the guy who made Garfield. So if I go my whole life and I don't,
Boondocks comics were often very much about current events.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that if you have what's his name, Aaron Magruder. I'm pretty sure if you have an original drawing of his, those are always going to be collectible, even if they're about current events that are no longer current. So
my point is that I always looked up to them, and I can't go my whole life without going down the path that I knew since I was 5 I wanted to do. And there's something down there. There's something. That's why I was inspired by it. I believe that if you're inspired by something, it's because there's something there for you. And you have to chase it at least to figure out what tidbit of that was the thing you were inspired by. It might not be the whole thing, but there's something there. And
the very first time I heard the song "Welcome to the Jungle" by Guns N' Roses, the first notes of that electric guitar with the delay pedal on it
made you want to play guitar.
I play guitar for 27 years because of that. I wanted to be able to do that.
And you found your passion in that.
Very much so. I found a hobby, I found a passion, I found something that keeps me busy and entertained, and that I can never get to the end of getting better at.
Maybe the whole reason why I drew popular characters was because I wanted to make a popular character that's very much in the same vein as the ones I was drawing, and now I am. And now I'm giving them, spawning it life in the old way, and eventually they'll be made into cartoons, much like how Peanuts was and Garfield was. So,
I started off learning how to play guitar by playing other people's songs, and now I never play other people's songs.
And keep in mind, I've only been doing art for professionally like this for 5 years maybe, and finding out a way to make money. Now, comics don't make money at the beginning. So I have a springboard that I made, a revenue stream that I'm able to eat off and take the time to make these comics, which is, I'm seeing it all now as it's happening, that this might be exactly what I always wanted, and it took a little bit of time to formulate.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I found in my life a lot of times when things are the most out of my control, it ends up leading to me to the things that I wanted most. Just in a backwards way that I wasn't planning, but sometimes you kind of have to trust the larger process and that things are going to work out. Yeah, they're going to work out. They're going to bring you where you want to be. And sometimes they're going to bring you where you need to be, and you didn't even know you wanted to be there till you're there. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is better than what I actually wanted.
That's what I'm experiencing right now. And I should take the leap into the Rothko style at least once. If anything, I get to keep it at my house. Because the other thing that I wanted to paint was more of this pandemic type piece and get the things out of my head onto a canvas. But there's a part of me that's also like, is anyone gonna want to see that? And maybe I need to just wait and have the images be more friendly or something.
I mean, I
I'm
think
not entirely sure.
personally,
That's why I'm
for
holding
me
off.
personally, I think there's enough shit on the internet about the virus right now, and that people like us, artists, can be an oasis from that instead of adding to that.
I was thinking like an anime chick with a mask on and stuff like that. You know, it's not like full on like death and stuff like that. It's like very subtle about how the world is changing.
Well, I mean, you do you, bro.
You know.
You do you.
But I that's why I'm holding off. I painted Popeye and I painted my character on the windowsill with the face mask twice. I might actually keep painting that in different colorways because that to me helps the comic. It's a great image about the time, and it's kind of how I feel. That's what I'm going after. But I have been slacking on painting, and the only way out of it is to do a Rothko, where it's just the colors.
Yeah, I mean, I
color therapy.
Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'd really been paralyzed with uncertainty for a couple of weeks. I lost my job. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know if I was going to get, government assistance or anything. Thank God in Canada we've got a pretty good system popping up there. I'm not going to be starving. So, I'm grateful for that. And it's kind of like I switched my mindset to like trying to find out what's really going on to like trying to be really present and make what's going on happen. What's going on right here, right now, is we're filming Arty Time and talking to you and hoping you're having a good time watching it.
Yeah.
And what's going on right after this, I'm probably going to go finish up or do some line work on the painting I'm working on. Maybe have a snack. Go smoke a joint.
I'm gonna make rice and yellow potato and what else? Oh, obviously I have pancakes after that too. But I don't know if I'm gonna paint tonight.
No, I really find like because
comic.
When I was getting into the addiction scrolling on Facebook before the whole coronavirus thing, at least it was all different stuff I was going through. This guy's posting this, sports, but now it's just coronavirus, art, coronavirus, meme about coronavirus, art, meme, like it's like it's just hard to get away from clicking on those links and going down the rabbit holes and who said what and who's the doctor who's got the real thing going on and this doctor says this and you shouldn't take Advil and now there's Snopes saying that you can take Advil and it's like what the fuck's going on?
And who the fuck is Snopes?
If I don't read any of that and just sit here in my basement and paint and put on some awesome music, I'm in a much better mood.
Of course, yeah, 100%.
Does that make me ignorant for not knowing what's going on minute to minute all around the world of all these opinions of 100 different people that are all different from each other and who knows what the fuck they're all talking about anyway? I don't know, man. That's where I was for 2 weeks, and that's not a good place to be. So,
I believe it.
So as an artist, for like, if you're out there and experiencing anything like that anxiety or feeling trapped in your house or whatever, like, just try and remember that feeling you get when you paint.
Yeah, and keep in mind that it's good to be informed, okay? And what I'm about to say has nothing to do with... I really believe you should be informed. A part of me is risking my own societal... what I built in my business, I'm literally putting a bunch of it at risk by actually telling people what I think is going on so that they could be informed. So yes, you should be informed. At the same time, I do not have Wi-Fi at my house. I do not have data on my phone for a reason. There's only so much of this that you can take. So remember that this pandemic is also a virus of your mind. Okay? Yes, the virus is real. Yes, it's hurting people. But there's another one going on. And it's the virus of the mind that the media is pushing on people, which is fear. And you have to make sure that you are aware of that. You don't let it creep into your life too much because you'll be paralyzed.
Yeah, there's literally like, there's so many things to be afraid of on the internet, like the news and this and that and the other thing, and like think how much bad news there is just in a regular day to stress us out.
And it's like action news
and like
this person died in this car crash.
All that stuff is still going on. It's just not coronavirus, so it's not the top headline that people are clicking and going to find out. And is my grandma gonna die? Am I gonna die? Who's gonna die? Is there somebody at the grocery store that I shop at that has it? Oh my god, the bank!
They've never had ratings this good. Their ratings are through the roof, and when that happens, they're not going to cease. They're going to persist, and that's the nightmare scenario that we find ourselves in. That it's in their benefit to just run their mouth nonstop.
But the nightmare can be turned off.
100%.
The nightmare can, and then you go put your CD on or your music or whatever, you know.
And
If you
whatever-
want to listen to a book, an audio book or something, I just recommend, if you're feeling stressed and trapped and uncertain, if all that shit is getting you excited and you're hyped about it and you feel like this is what we've been waiting for, this is awesome, cool, whatever, persist, go on, man. But if you're like I was and you're paralyzed with uncertainty and, you know, fear in a certain level, and that's what I did to get over it. I gave myself a routine where, like, I start painting at a certain time every day, even if I don't feel like it yet. I pick up the brushes and turn on the music and I start painting.
Oh, good for you.
And I do my dishes at the same time. You know, I kind of have the same routine each day when I get up.
For me, it's been the comics that are getting me through. Like, I wake up and I sit down and I make a comic. Because for some reason, everything flows in the morning for me with the jokes. And then later at night, I could just, like, relax and eat and play a video game. But yeah, there's something that's the saving grace of art, eh?
No, it really has a healing force in my life. I'm sure of it. I know when I paint, I feel better than when I don't. Like, at the end of the day, look, like,
I want to come out of this with something to show.
Did I save anybody's life by painting?
Apparently, if you listen to the Canadian government, you did.
Maybe because I stayed home, I did. You know,
you didn't go on the bus.
There was part of me is feeling as an artist, like I was feeling kind of, you know, that Ralph from the Simpsons meme where he's like, I'm helping, you know, like I was feeling like that a little bit. You know, what does an artist mean in this time? And, you know, what an artist means in this time is like,
it's what you decide.
It's what you decide.
It's what you decide. You mean.
But
and
for a lot of people, it's also like
art is important in these
It's
times.
keeping them entertained and it's keeping them inspired, and it's also maybe, you know, letting them know, like, hey, you got this thing that you want to do more of it.
Yeah.
Get off the computer. You know, you can come back 4 hours later. There's gonna be more news about coronavirus. It's not going away.
It's inspirational. It's entertainment. And to an extent, where I'm going after, it's a bit informative in the sense that, like, I'm trying to ease a narrative into my comics. I don't know if anyone's been noticing, but I'm definitely easing a narrative into that bitch. And it's a delicate dance, my friend. It's a delicate dance to also make a joke while being like
shadow banned.
Who knows? I don't think it'll be if it'll be shadow banned, it's because of my caption that I write underneath the comic. You know what I mean? Even those, though, I'm getting very vague at them. I'm getting very good at making them vague.
No, I don't
Today's
know.
was today's I'd love to tell you, but the authorities don't like it when I go against the controlled narrative.
Yeah, especially the authorities on your turb here.
Oh
They'll cut our live feed off if we talk about 5 grams.
Yeah, we have nothing to talk, and there's really nothing to talk about. Who cares? Who cares, bro? We're in such an unsure time that time will tell. We talked about this outside.
Yeah, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
The only thing that we could do is the thing that we've always done and the things that we're skilled at. And although some people can't work, which is a shame, artists, if you have resources at your house, and even if you don't have paint, there's a way to make paints. You know, you can go back to the old world of how you made paints.
You can probably order them online, too.
You can order them online. There's a way to get creative with all kinds of things, and that's your skill. Don't lose it in the fog of war.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like, did you know trench art? You know what trench art is?
That was made during the fog of war in the fucking foxholes?
Trench art is literally called trench art because a lot of time it was people made it in the trenches, yeah. Like that's why trench art, like a lot of trench art is like is actually carvings and more I guess engravings than carvings on old artillery shells, because when an artillery battalion, I don't know what you call the group of people that run an artillery gun, but when those guys weren't like, they didn't have coordinates to be firing on, they're sitting there waiting to get coordinates to fire on. And sometimes they might be sitting there for days and they've got these used shells, nothing else to do. Like, yeah, trench art, you know, like humans make art. It's a thing that we do to pass time and make ourselves feel good, because pretty much every artist I know, when they actually complete a piece of art, most of them feel good. There's some artists that make art and they hate what they make all the time, and I'll be honest with you, I don't fucking understand why those people make art. But for the rest of us artists that make art and we feel good when we finish a project and it makes us feel proud of having, you know, accomplished something, like that's an awesome feeling to have, and that feeling carries on into other parts of your life. Like, you know, for me, I'll finish a painting and then I'll be happy. I'll go, oh, I want that feeling again. I'll go do the dishes. I'll be like, oh, I want that feeling again. You know, I'll go do the groceries that I've been putting on or whatever. You know, like for me, there's something therapeutic in art and in finishing a new piece and sharing it with the world too, because then there's that extra that butterfly effect that carries on through inspiring and hopefully putting a smile on other people's face or making them think or whatever you're trying to do with your art.
I answered comments live on Arty Time.
Did you?
Well, I gotta answer some.
An Arty Time comment? Like on YouTube, somebody commented on our Arty Time and you answered?
No, it's
No?
someone.
Oh, okay.
It's someone who's asking too many questions.
Oh.
Too many questions, and I have to tell them you're asking too many questions. Do your own research.
Mm.
I am not the encyclopedia.
What's an encyclopedia?
It's this thing they used to read all the time. Did you used to read it?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Sit you up. Oh man, I feel like I might paint tonight. I don't know. You inspire me. I come over and I see you painting, and it's like, oh yeah, I haven't painted in like 3 days.
No, I've been actually painting a lot lately, and I hope to keep it up because it
Inking
makes
a
me
comic
feel good.
is very
It makes me
different
feel
than
good.
painting.
It makes me feel good.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I guess you're in land, and I don't have much else to say. So is this Arty Time episode 30 or what?
It could be. I mean, we'll do another one, another day. It's just cool to get one out during the whole craziness to actually document that here we are living it. You know, Adam had a job painting, and then he had a job
not painting,
and then he lost that job, and now he's painting.
But the government's paying me to paint because I lost the job not painting. So that's kind of okay. I'm cool with that. The way that worked out is actually pretty damn alrighty-o. See, sometimes the way things work, I couldn't plan it that way. I couldn't plan it. Hey, you work for like 9 months and you're going to get a 4-month vacation to sit at home and paint and the government's going to pay you. It sucks that there's a whole virus going around and society's changing pretty quickly to get that vacation. But hey, you know, like I say,
let's keep our spirits high.
Keep the spirits high. Keep the painting going, and you know, like share it. Get out there. If you are being creative and you're doing things, like get it out there. Show people. Inspire other people. Because I'll be straight up with you. During those 2 weeks where I was paralyzed, I'm super grateful for all the artists and musicians out there who weren't. And who were like diving into this free time that they had to make amazing things and share them. Like it motivated me and it made me want to be one of those people because I was looking at how these people are making me feel. And I'm like, I know I have it in me to create things that can make people feel that way too. And right now people need to feel that way, feel that positive, that vibe that, you know, things are going to be all right. And even if they aren't, they can be all right today, right now, if you're an artist or if you're not. Go look at some. Go be like, hey man, get off the fucking coronavirus and go scroll some of your favorite artists or go look for some new artists. Why not? You know, if you have free time and you're stuck at home in quarantine, go find some new artists to be fans of.
New music, new art. It's a good time to get culturally
yeah, it's a good
involved,
time to find some new cool things. I know I've been one DJs that I follow, Mr. C, the last few weeks or a couple of weeks, he's been doing like these DJ mixes from his living room, and I'm watching them and I'm enjoying them, and like they start at 4, and that's kind of the time in my schedule I've decided that I'm going to start my afternoon painting session, so it works perfectly, and like it's just great
finding a new routine.
Yeah, humans thrive on routine, so like having your entire routine shaken up and having a lot of your friends' families' routines shaken up at the same time, on top of the stress of, you know, the news and coronavirus and not knowing if you're going to get sick or if it's a big conspiracy or whatever's going on, you know, it can be stressful. But I know for me, when I'm sitting there painting, the last thing on my mind is all that stress, and the only thing on my mind is what's happening right in the moment, and it usually feels good.
Yeah, so this has been Arty Time episode 30, guys. I hope you keep the paint wet, and I hope we'll catch you when it dries.
Yeah, Arty Time, Arty on.
Excellent. Peace, y'all.
Stay 6 feet away from me, motherfuckers.
You want to stop it? I'll just sit here and keep the frame. It's the X in the top right corner. And then you click end. Okay.